Wife had emotional affair with coworker but refusing to tell his wife. It was a short-lived, 1 month, but very intense where they talked about taking a vacation together and having sex while on DUGS. I read all their messages and it made me want to bleach my eyes. She swears it was just talks and she was never going to get physical with him. And I found out after she had stopped engaging sexually with him, so that's something I guess. But they are still friends. We have talked a lot about this and I hope we can get past this. We are starting MC in a week. My only condition has been that she has to inform his wife. It will show me that she is actually devoted to repairing our relationship. She is dead set against this. She says it will ruin her reputation. We are stuck on this point. Need advice on how to get past this? Edit, update. One of the commenters pointed out that it will be cruel for his wife to hear it from my wife. I never thought of it like that. And they are 100% right though, it will be like rubbing salt in wound if she tells her. Like I destroyed it but now I am helping you by telling. I have to be the one to tell her. She is still friends with him and is more worried about her reputation than your marriage. I'm sorry, but you need to open your eyes. She is not telling you everything. She was never going to get physical with him, yeah I bet. First, they can't be friends anymore. 2. She tells her or you will and if you have to you will lose respect for her. Here is to wearing rose-colored glasses and ignoring all the red flags. The fact that she was ready to have sex with someone else and after all that she's still friends with the guy. It's alarming. Wake up, sir. You set a boundary. Is it a hard, deal-breaker, boundary or is it more of a "it'd be nice if you did but" type boundary? If it's a deal-breaker type of boundary then what are you prepared to do to enforce it? She is dead set against this. She says it will ruin her reputation. One thing for you to consider is the effect of the risk to her employment. As far as your needs are concerned. Regarding the reputation, fuck that. If the shoe fits, and she wants to demonstrate remorse, then she needs to wear the shoe. Actions have consequences. And they are still friends? Just know. I would bet all the tea in China that she is lying to you. There is more here. She is only admitting to what you caught her with. This is called trickle truth. And it is soul-sucking. Is a lack of deeper conversations a deal-breaker? In a relationship for 2 years and I am wondering if I should temper my expectations for my relationship. He's kind and affectionate to me. The sex is nice. But lately I haven't been feeling that feeling where you're in sync with your partner. He's so quiet sometimes at times where there's really interesting material to talk about. Anyone able to give me some introspection into how relationships should actually be? Shadow edit. Like we went to see a really profound, deep-meaning movie a while ago and after it all I wanted to do was talk for hours about the meaning of the movie and he just said he didn't really like it or get it. Which was so disappointing because it's not like he's dumb or anything but if it were a first date or we were in the dating period, I probably wouldn't have gone on future dates after that. It honestly comes down to you and what you value and look for in a partner. Do you feel the lack of deeper conversations are making you feel less connected to your partner? Do you think they've changed the way you view them? Is it something that you think is putting a negative strain on your relationship? Personally, not being able to get philosophical with a partner is a turn-off for me because it's one way I like to be intimate with someone. If I can't get to know them on a deeper level, then I tend to feel quite disconnected from them. Why are you asking us if it's a deal-breaker? My significant other isn't hugely into the meanings behind films, etc. but that for me isn't personally a deal-breaker even though I'd enjoy those conversations with her. What's a deal-breaker for you might not be for me. If you think it's affecting your relationship that much, then end things. What do you mean by deep conversations? I don't need to be having deep conversations with my partner but a lack of conversation period would be a deal-breaker for me. If you can't shoot the shit with your partner and talk about anything no matter how trivial then what's the point? My boyfriend and I are both introverts and not talkative usually but we just click that way. I can't imagine being in a relationship where the conversation is always awkward and stifled. He's so quiet sometimes at times where there's really interesting material to talk about. Keep in mind that what's really interesting to you might not be really interesting to him. You are the only person that gets to decide what a deal-breaker is in your relationships. For me, if I couldn't talk to a partner in a deeper way, to have intellectual and emotional compatibility, I wouldn't want to stay in that relationship. Sex is nice but connection and being seen is more important to me. Figure out what's important to you, and don't let others shame you for those decisions. My partner's favorite movie is anything with Adam Sandler in it. Now that's a red flag. Got uninvited to an international wedding. My girlfriend proceeds to go to it and enjoy herself. This is a continuous on from another thread. So the wedding went ahead, of course, so I told my girlfriend the night before how upset I was and how this has terribly embarrassed me and ruined my time here in Greece. She said she was so sorry about inviting me and how I didn't deserve this. She said she didn't even want to go to this wedding anymore, but her family is saying if she doesn't go, then she is ruining the wedding for all. Truth be told, I never asked for her not to go, but deep down I was hoping she wouldn't. I just know if the shoe was on the other foot, if my sibling invited us over to a foreign country to a wedding that is extremely far and expensive, to then say she isn't comfortable with my partner coming any longer as she is a stranger, I wouldn't go myself out of protest and principle. I never said this and hoped she would do it herself, but I also understand she also must attend her family's wedding. The thing that got me was she said she was just going to the ceremony and after she was going to leave and try to meet me. At this point she has already gotten her items and decided to stay at her parents', as I told her I needed a little space as I felt so sad about this whole thing, and truthfully I didn't want to see her getting ready for the wedding at our hotel. She went to the wedding and as time went on, I got no inclination she wanted to leave and meet me. She texted me every hour to see how I was doing. I lied and said I was doing okay. This went on till 2 a.m., even though I was told the wedding was from 5 p.m. to 12. She asked me where I was and I said I'm at a bar. She asked which one and do I want to meet. At this point I was so upset as I had seen IG stories of them having fun at it, all the while I'm at a bar drinking my sorrows away like the big baby I am. I understood she went to the wedding, but I feel so slighted that she didn't leave after to meet me and check how I was doing. Instead she asked to meet when the party was over and everyone had gone home by then. During the wedding she said if I was interested in renting quads and going through the scenery with her parents and younger brother and girlfriend, not the bride and other brother, tomorrow. I thought this was so tone dead from her to ask. I clearly don't want to be near her family during this trip anymore. Even though they didn't do anything wrong and supposedly fought my corner. I'm so embarrassed about getting disinvited and how they wouldn't be able to talk about the wedding the night before as it would be taboo with me around and make it so awkward for me. I just feel she is trying to make the best of this holiday now for herself. I honestly think she should have went out of her way to be with me after the wedding and tried her best to have a good trip the next few days with the partner she arrived with. She's now spending time with them with the quads but said we can meet later. I don't know what to do. I have every right to end things with this girl as I think she hasn't fought enough for me. The thing is, I love her. I've never met and felt this way about any girl before. She's such a sweet, caring and funny person, but with that single selfish action her brother did with uninviting me. It's caused such a ripple effect that it completely affects my future. The thing is, when trying to get back into America, we were going in as a couple, which makes things easier. Our future employers are expecting a couple and we are the only foreign seasonal workers this time around. I'm afraid if she pulls out, they rescind both of our visa extensions. That brother is off on his honeymoon now without a care in the world, without even thinking the damage he has caused me and his sister. We are meeting for this chat later, but I have no idea what I want to say. Should I end it or not? How do I convey how she has hurt me and how this has been a nightmare for me? I will add though, I'm very lucky when we booked this trip. I invited my father as well, as I haven't seen him in months and would be the only time in the nearby future as the trip to America is too far for him. If it wasn't for him, I would have just booked the first ticket back to America no matter the cost. Him being here has helped. This is an utterly absurd amount of drama for a relationship with a woman you've only known for a handful of months. This is going to come off as a little harsh, but it's tough love and I think you need to hear it. You need to communicate. She cannot read your mind. You never said you didn't want her to go to the wedding, so she went. You said you were okay when you weren't and then are upset that she didn't leave when you said you were okay. She and her family aren't at fault. If you need things from her, you need to tell her instead of expecting her to just, no. Okay, so I'm going to be honest here. I hear you are hurt by her actions. And yes, her actions threw up red flags. But honestly, I'm hearing a lot of selfishness and red flags from both of you. She's not perfect. You didn't communicate what you feel. She's trying to please a bunch of people at once and she's not always making the decision you want her to make, but you're building resentment and not communicating at all with her about how you feel. You just expect her to read your mind. You both have a lot of growing up to do. I was interested in renting quads and going through the scenery with her parents and younger brother and girlfriend, not the bride and other brother, tomorrow. This is her trying to salvage what she can of the vacation. These aren't the people that disinvited you from the wedding. They might be lovely people. Who knows? You might actually have a good time. You should go. I'm guessing you're pretty young. Your life is going to be filled with disappointments like this. You need to learn to deal with them. Most people can tell similar stories of being disinvited from something nice. I know I have. It's not fair to expect your girlfriend to read your mind or mood and to choose you over her family when she doesn't even know that's what you want. It'd be one thing if you'd made your feelings clear and she chose her family. I'd still say it's not her fault, but it'd be more clear. However, you told her you were okay. You can't blame her for believing that. She's already in a difficult position, so expecting her to balance it all and keep everyone happy without even telling her what you need isn't going to end well. This is an unfortunate situation. TBH, I would not invite a 4-month-old boyfriend to an intimate family wedding either. Some women and some men have a dozen short-term relationships that don't work out, and now guy number 7 is in all the family photos. I'm not saying this is what is gonna happen to you guys, but 4 months is very short. It's not even a relationship yet in my opinion. What they did, however, was very inconsiderate. If they knew you were coming beforehand and only cancelled last minute, it was an absolute selfish move. Still, it's their right to cancel. There is no right or wrong here or thing you should do now but live and learn. Your girlfriend sounds fine to me too, sounds like a keeper. I want to push back my marriage because my fiancé is not over his ex. This is my first ever post to Reddit, so I'll do my best to stay within the rules of the sub. I, 24F. Want to push back my marriage with my fiancé, 26M, because he is not over his ex. We've been together for about a year and a half. It started a few months ago when I asked him to send over our pictures from a vacation we took together, and he asked me to get them from his phone myself. I did that, but I caught a glimpse of an album titled The Name of His Ex. He had been with her for a few years and proposed, but things went bad between them and they broke things off. The album is full of love letters, pictures of them together, pictures of just her. I talked to him about it and he said he's still not over her, and come to find out, she reached out to him after being no contact since the breakup. I expressed how this made me feel and he kinda ignored this and continued talking to her for closure, I guess. I talked to him later about this as well and said that I don't want to marry him if he can't commit himself to me. Should I just approach this in a different way? What should I do? Too long did not read. Title. It sounds like he is taking you and your relationship for granted. This is really not normal behavior, especially with an upcoming commitment as serious as marriage. I personally would not be able to be with someone who needed to hang on to an ex to this extent. It sounds like he proposed to you as a backup plan, band-aid for the true one that got away. Know your worth. Don't be afraid to leave. You aren't as old as you feel you are right now. I say the age thing because I remember feeling this urgency before 25, like I needed to be wifed up ASAP, but now I'm 28 and feel younger and more fulfilled in love than I did at that age. You have time. He kinda ignored this and continued talking to her for closure, I guess. No, he didn't. He isn't over his ex and he isn't looking for closure. She opened the door because she is toxic and knows exactly what she wants. Now, your fiancé just wasn't strong enough to say it was over. If it were my fiancé, I'd call the wedding off and let him reevaluate his life instead of giving me empty promises of, "I'm over it," while stockpiling terabytes of emotional feelings to her. Push it back, way back. All the way back to never. If your friend was in the same predicament, what would you say to them? I want to push back, cancel my marriage because my fiancé is not over his ex. Fixed it for you. Don't marry someone when you're not their first and only choice. You are the plan B. Leave while you can, find someone who will respect you. He said straight out he's not over her. Don't sit around and wait to be second choice. You mean ex-fiancé, right? Why would you stay with someone who's actively in contact with their ex they aren't over? They basically reconciling right in front of you and you gonna allow that? They're so disrespectful for doing what they're doing. Don't allow him to make you his second option. Leave him and find someone who chooses you.